I went there because our PT, who was seeing my husband, was telling me about Beyond Sausage, that it was because I said I like Beyond Burgers. On July 22nd, I went and picked up my delivery from Walmart. I didn't go inside. I picked up my delivery. I came home and put this Beyond Sausage patty into my freezer. Saturday morning, the day of this stabbing, I got up and I said to my husband, I'm going to try those. Took it out, and on the package it said, if frozen, expires May 5th, 2025. I was like, May 5th? I bought it July 22nd. I put it right in the freezer. I'm going back to Walmart. I said, I will be back in 1 hour. Mm-hmm. So I went floating out and, over to Walmart, went to customer service, got $3.83 back for my sausage. Turned around and I heard 2 blood-curdling screams. And then I could just feel the chaos. Everybody was screaming. And I only had to walk maybe 50 feet to get out the door. Just gotten out the second door, the last door. And when he got me, it was right in the back, and I just went like that. In fact, I have grazes on, well, they're getting better, but up here, not on my kneecaps, but on the top, because I went flat as a flounder. I went flat, and this very nice lady that I'd like to thank, I don't know her name, I don't know who she is, she tried to get my hand up, and when I stood up, I looked down, and I was just gushing in blood, and I had no clue where it came from. I just thought I'd gotten pushed, and I thought, where is it coming from? And the lady said, you're bleeding profusely. And then she took, somebody gave her a t-shirt, wound it up, and she held me, and then she put that against my side, or at my back, and she held that. And I said, well, I have to get home. I have to talk to my daughter because my husband's at home in a wheelchair, and I told him I'd be back in an hour, and there's nobody to take care of him. I got to get my daughter over there. Mm-hmm. She took my phone out of my purse, and she said, here, dial your daughter. I did. I told my daughter I'd been stabbed and I was at Walmart, to go to your dad. I'm fine. They're going to bring an ambulance. I put it back, or the lady put it back in my purse. My daughter told me afterward that for 45 minutes, nobody had turned off my phone. And she heard everything that was going on in the ambulance and in the trauma room. I think it's 2 centimeter dash, or,
gash.
And then I think there's an 8 centimeter slash into my lung. I had already had previous surgery. My upper lobe was removed, and the PA came to me a couple of days later, and she said, you would have had a deflated lung, but because of that other operation, you had scar tissue, and that prevented the lung from deflating.
Did you feel the stinging at all?
Not at all. No, I felt my elbow and up here I had a huge egg.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
My daughter took a picture of me. It was huge up here. And of course, I've had a super black eye. Now it's green and other colors.
What should happen to this guy?
I hope that he can stay on his medication. I hope that he is not incarcerated in a jail. I don't think a jail is any place for him to be. But a state hospital like they used to have in Traverse City that was really run well once upon a time. We need to go back to something like that where you're in there for the rest of your life, but you are, I don't want to say taken care of, because I think you can still have a life within that environment and grow from it, read books, do whatever, watch television, you know what I mean? Live sort of a normal life, but you're off the streets.
Did he say anything to you?
I never saw him because he came from behind, and then, I was down, and that's when everything kicked in, where the Marines took over, after that.
So what's your message to him?
I really don't have a message except that I hope you get help. And I hope you can live somewhat of a good life. It won't be normal, but a good life. Yeah, a policeman knocked at my door, and he said, do you remember me? And I said, no. He said, well, I was the one that helped you on Saturday. And I said, oh my goodness. We had a nice long talk, and at the end he said, well, I want to give you something. And he said, my uniform was covered in your blood, and I had to throw it away. He said, but this patch was still good, and I wanted to give it to you. And so that's what he did, and he gave me his card, and he said, anytime, you need help, let me know.